Okay, next topic is calibration and validation of a models. Okay, the validation and verification all through we are conceptually distinct. Okay, verification is different and validation is different. We have seen the verification and validation differences in the previous session. Okay, and usually these verification and validation are conducted simultaneously by the modeler. Okay, first we do verification and then we go for validation. Okay, verification time, what we do, whether we are building the system properly or not will be checked here. Okay, in correct way are we building it or not will be done in verification process. In validation process, are we building the right system or not will be checked in validation process. Okay, so these verification and validation usually are conducted simultaneously by the modeler, and the validation is the overall process of comparing the model and its behavior with the real time system, whereas verification we do compare the system with respect to the requirement specifications. Okay, but validation we will overall process of validation is overall process of comparing the model and its behavior to the real system is called validation process. Okay, next one is calibration. Okay, calibration is a iterative process of comparing the model to real system, making adjustments to the model and comparing again, and so on. We call it as calibration. Okay, it's a together verification and validation is calibration process. It's a calibration process is a iterative process of comparing the model to real system and making, if your developed model is not as it is as the real system, then we need to do some adjustments to the model. Okay, that will be done in the calibration process. And okay, here also we do compare with the real system and we do modification to the developed model. Okay, this is calibration process. We can see here in the figure that it shows the relationship of the model calibration to overall validation process. Okay, this is the real system. Okay, initially we first develop the model. Okay, that model will be compared with the real system. Okay, to check whether the real system and model uh, are behaving same or not will be compared here. Okay, if it is not, then the model will be revised. Okay, after revising the model, after doing revising is nothing but doing modification to developed model. After doing modification to the developed model, we will get a first version of the model. Okay, again this first version of the model will be compared with the real system. Okay, that compare the revised model to the reality. Okay, here again we'll after doing modification we'll check whether the developed model is behaving as like real system or not will be compared here. Okay, if it is behaving so, we'll stop it. Else again we do modification for this version of the system model. Again we do revise, we will get second version of the model. Again that second version will be compared with the real time system until this process will be goes on until we get a model which should as it is behaves like a real time system. Okay, that process we call it as calibration process. Okay, it's an iterative process of calibration model. Okay, this process is called iterative process of calibration a model. This is also very important, calibration and validation of models. Okay, the comparison of model to reality is carried out by variety of tests. Okay, how do we here in calibration we have discussed that we do compare that real system with the developed model, right? That comparison of model to the real time real system will carry out some different types of tests. Okay, some tests are subjective and others will be objective tests. Okay, subjective tests will usually involve the people. Okay, in subjective tests usually people will be involved. Okay, who are knowledgeable about one or more aspects of the system and making judgments about the model and its output. Okay, that is subjective test. Whereas objective test will always require say data on the system's behavior plus the corresponding data produced by the model. Okay, that is objective test. Whereas subjective test, we people will be involved, and the people who are knowledgeable about one or more aspects of the system and making the people should have the knowledge to make judgment about the model and its output. Okay, that is subjective test. Whereas in objective test, which will be always, it requires some data on the system's behavior plus corresponding data produced by the model is objective test. Okay, and no model is ever a perfect representation of a system. Okay, no model is a perfect representation of a system. The modeler must weigh the possible but not guaranteed and increase in model accuracy versus the cost of the increased validation efforts. Okay, there is no model is ever perfect representation of the system. And here one more thing is the danger during the collaboration phase. There will be a danger during calibration phase. That is, typically few data sets are available here to test the model. Okay, in the worst case, there will be only one data set. Okay, the model is only validated for that whatever data set we have, the few data sets, with that only the model will be validated in calibration phase. Okay, here the because so it is danger calibrate during the calibration phase. We are will not be having more data sets to test the developed model. Okay, for this solution is, if possible, collect the new data sets. Okay, which will be used to test the all the possible ways of developed model. Okay, this is about calibration and validation process. Okay, and as an aid in the validation process, Naylor and Finger formulated a three-step approach which has been widely followed. Okay, Naylor and Finger formulated a three-step approach for validation process. That is, build a model that has high face validity. Next step, validate the model assumptions. Next step, compare the model input transformations with the real systems data. Okay, the first step is high face validity. High face validity says the first goal of the simulation modeler is to construct a model that appears reasonable on its face to model users and others who are knowledgeable about the real system being simulated. Okay, the first goal of the simulation modeler is to construct a model that appears reasonable on its face to model users and others who are knowledgeable about the real system being simulated. Next, the users of the model should be involved in the model construction from its conceptualization to its implementation to ensure that high degree of realism is built on, into the model through reasonable assumptions regarding the system structure and reliable data. So users of the model should be involved while constructing a model. Okay, and another advantage of user involvement is increase in the model's per- perceived validity and credibility. Validity and credibility will be increased if users are involved in model building. Okay, without which manager will not be willing to trust simulation results as the basis for the decision making. Okay, that is another advantage of involving the users in the model construction. Okay, next is, since sensitivity analysis can also be used to check the model's face validity, and the model user is asked if the model behaves in expected way when one or more input variables are changed. Okay, the model user is asked if model behaves in expected way when one or more variables are changed. Based on the experience and observations on the real system, the model user and model builder would probably have some notion at least of the direction of change in the model output when an input variable is increased or decreased. That is high face validity. Here, the model builder must attempt to choose the most critical input variables. The model builders must attempt to choose the most critical input variables for testing. If it is too expensive or time consuming, okay, to vary all the input variables, the model builder must attempt to choose most critical input variables at least. Okay, that's about high face validity. Okay, next one is validate model assumptions. Here, the general classes of model assumptions are structural assumptions, data assumptions, okay, and structural assumptions are how the system operates and usually involves simplification and abstractions of reality. Okay, how the system operates and involves simplification and abstractions of it reality is structural assumptions, whereas data assumptions are reliability of data and its statistical analysis is called data assumptions. Okay, here we consider the bank example. The customer queuing and the service facility in a bank will be the example for this. Okay, classes of model assumptions. Here in this structural assumption example is customer waiting in a line versus many lines. Okay, that served as a first come first serve versus priority. Okay, that is structural assumptions example. Whereas data assumptions example, inter-arrival time of the customers and service time of commercial accounts. Okay, that is data assumptions, inter-arrival time of the customers and service times of commercial accounts. Verify the data reliability with the bank managers. Here, test the correlation and goodness fit test for the data. Okay, here the data will be tested with correlation and goodness fit test for the data, and identify an appropriate probability distribution, estimate the parameters of the hypothesized distribution, and validate the assumed statistical model by goodness fit test. Okay, such as chi-square test will be performed on the data, or KS test also will be performed on the data. Okay, or by graphical methods also will be used for testing the data here. Okay, this is about validate model assumptions. Next one is validating the input transformation. Here, the test of a model, ultimate test of a model, and is the only objective test of the model. Okay, ultimate test of the model and is only the objective test of the model. It is ability to predict the future behavior of a real system. Okay, the ultimate test of the model is its ability to predict the future behavior of the real system. In this phase, validation process, the model is viewed as input-output transformation. Okay, so the value in this, the ability to predict the future behavior of the system, the validation process, the model is viewed as a input-output transformation. Validation process, we will see the model as input-output transformation. Okay, that is the model accepts accepts the values of input parameters and transforms these input to output measures of performance. Okay, it is correspondence that being validated. Okay, here in this validating the input output transformation validation process, the model will be seen as in how the input is transformed to the output. Okay, that will be viewed in the model in validation process phase. Okay, instead of validating the model input output transformation by predicting the future, the modeler may use the past historical data also. By using the historical data also, we can predict how the system will behave in future. Okay, instead of validating the model input output transformation by predicting the future, the modeler may use the past and historical data which has been served for the validation purposes. That is, if one set has been used to develop, calibrate the model, and it's it is recommended that the separate data test be used for final validation test. Okay, so that will accurate the prediction of the past. Okay, that may replace the prediction of the future for the purpose of validating the future. Okay, and a necessary condition for the input output transmission is that some versions of the system under the study exist so that system data under the least one set of input condition can be collected to compare to model prediction. Okay, if the system is in planning stage or and no system operating the data can be collected, and complete input output validation is not possible if the system is in planning stage. Okay, and validation increases the modeler's confidence that the model of existing system is accurate. Okay, this is about validating the input output transformation. In validation phase, the model will be viewed as a input output transformation. Okay, and the changes in the computerized representation of the system, ranging from the relatively minor to the relatively major. Okay, the changes in the computerized representation of the system, there will be changes will be minor to the major. That is, that will include the minor changes of the single numerical parameters such as speed of emission, arrival rate of the customer, and minor changes of the form of a statistical distribution such as distribution of service time or time to failure of a machine. Okay, and there can be the major changes in logical structure of the subsystem, such as changes in the queue discipline for the waiting line model, or changes in the scheduled rule of a job shop model. Okay, and major changes may involve a different design for the new system, such as like computerized inventory control system replacing a non-computerized system. Okay, that will be the major changes in computerized representation of the system. Okay, we'll see the input output validation using a historical data. Input output validation, we have discussed that we can validate the input output transformation by using the historical data also. Okay, historical data is nothing but the previous data. Input output validation using historical input data. When using the artificially generated data as input data, the modeler will expect the model produce event patterns that are compatible with but not identical to. Okay, the event patterns that occurred in the real system during the period of data collection, that will be the in the bank model, the artificial input data will be x1n comma x2n when n equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on for the interarrival and service times were generated, and replicates of that output data y2 were compared to what was the observed in the real system. Okay, an alternative to generating the input data is to use the actual historical record, that is an comma sn when n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, to drive the simulation model and then to compare the model output to the system data. Okay, and to implement this technique for the bank model, the data a1 a2 to s1 s2 and so on would have to be entered into the model into arrays. Okay, are sorted on the file to be read as the need of which rises. Okay, to conduct a validation test using the historical input data, it is important that all the input data like AN and SN and so on, and all the system response data such as the average delay, which will be represented as Z2, be collected during the same time period only. Okay, to conduct the validation test during the historical input data, it is important that input data and all the system response data and average delays to be collected during at the same time. Okay, otherwise the comparison of the model responses to the system responses, such as comparison of the average delays in the model to that the system, that is the jet2, could be misleading. Okay, so we need to collect the collect the input data and all system responses data and average delays in the same time period. Okay, and responses, that is y2 and z2, depends on the inputs an and sn. Okay, as well as on the structure of the system or the model. The responses y2 and z2 will be depends on the what inputs we are giving it, that is here the inputs we have related as an and sn. Okay, and as well as it will be depends, the responses will be depends on the structure of the system or the model also. And the implementation of this technique could be difficult for the large systems because of need for the simultaneous data collection of all the input variables and those responses variables for the primary interest. So it is implementation of this input output validation using historical input data will be difficult for the large systems. Okay, because here we need to uh, collect the simultaneously the data. Okay, data collection should be done simultaneously of all the input variables and those responses variables of primary interest also will be collected simultaneously. So that's why this technique will be difficult for the large systems. Okay, next we'll see another technique, that is input and output validation using Turing test. Here, in addition to that statistical test, when no statistical test is readily applicable, then we go for this Turing test. That is, a person's knowledgeable about the system behavior can be used to compare the model output to the system output. Here, person's knowledgeable about the system behavior can be used to compare the model output to the system output. The model output will be compared to the system output depends on the person's knowledgeable about the system's behavior. Okay, take an example. Suppose that 5 reports of the system performance over 5 different days are prepared, and the simulation outputs are used to produce 5 fake reports. Okay, the 10 reports should all be in exactly in the same format, should contain the information of type that manager and engineer have previously seen on the system. Okay, the 10 reports are randomly shuffled and given to the engineers, who are asked to decide which reports are fake and which are the real. Okay, if engineer identifies that substantial number of the fake reports, the model builder questions the engineer and uses the information gained to improve the model. Okay, if the engineer cannot distinguish between the fake and real reports with any consistency, the modeler will conclude that this test provides no evidence of model inadequacy. Okay, this type of validation test is called Turing test. Okay, input output validation test using Turing test. Next one we'll see optimization of optimization via simulation. Here the optimization via simulation is to refer to the problem of maximizing and or minimizing the expected performance of discrete event. Okay, that is long run averages performance of the discrete event, or stochastic system that is represented by a computer simulation model. Okay, and the optimization usually deals with the problems with certainly, but in stochastic discrete event simulation, this result of any simulation run is a random variable. Okay, we let x1 x2 to xm be the m controllable design variables, and y is set of x1 x2 to xm be the observed simulation output performances on one run. Okay, to optimize y of x1 to xm with respect to x1 to xm is to maximize or minimize the mathematical expectations on long run average of the performance. That is E of y x1, x2 to xm. That is optimization via simulation.